When I was young, I was fascinated by the gospel. I was fascinated by what Jesus said. Love one another as I have loved you. Give, and you shall receive. Seek, and you shall find. Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the meek. I was fascinated by the gospel. And I felt so fascinated with Jesus as a person. I feel he's very wise. But when I met the Focolare movement, I realized that the gospel is not something to be read, actually. The gospel is something to be lived in our lives. And that, for me, is a revolution. It means it's not just for me to be fascinated by what Jesus said, but to do what he said, to be what he said. When he said, love one another, then I have to live it. And he says, seek, and you shall find, then I have to seek. Give, and you shall receive, then I have to give. And the Focolare taught me how to do that. And I grew up in this atmosphere of living the gospel, living these words of Jesus that brings life, that brings joy. And that is how I grew up in the Focolare. And to this day, it has always given me great joy. It is not easy to live the gospel. Many times we struggle, many times we fall, but still, it is this adventure that frees us from the monotony, the boredom of everyday life. And off we go on this magical adventure, but which in the end will bring us where we want to be, where we will find true fulfillment. Like what St. Augustine said, our hearts are restless until they rest in thee.
Hello everyone, I'm Ruby from Hong Kong. Thank you for giving me the chance to greet all of you. In 1992, I went to Singapore. The Focolare was still at Queen Street, inside the compound of St. Peter and Paul's Church. At that time, there were Ide, an Italian, together with Era from Philippines. We were three in the Focolare. I remember I was working at the hospice of the Carnation Sisters. I had to leave very early and came back late. Not much time in the Focolare. Later, I found another job working at the Italian bank. This lasts only for 6 months. Without work, I could not get the permit to stay in Singapore. I went to Italy, and from there, I was assigned to Cameroon in Africa. I could not have the chance to come back and say goodbye to you all. Singapore is a very nice place with all of you living the gospel. We are in one big family. I hope that one day I can come back again to work with you all for the kingdom of God. Thank you.
I'm Dimar. I arrived in Singapore in the beginning of 1997. Coming from Hong Kong, I was so amazed to see this beautiful place of people with different colors, different cultures, different languages, different faith and religions. But among these diversities, there is always harmony among people. Soon I discovered another beauty is their generosity. For example, we as lay missionary, we will work outside so as to bring Christian testimony to our working environment and at the same time to earn our own living. Often after work, we have to organize the activities, formations, trips to our different groups and communities. The members of the community, after knowing our lives, they started to call us, offering their free time to help us in the Focolare, like some office work or even some house cleaning. It was always a great joy when we came back from a weekend trip to Malaysia and Indonesia. We found our dinner was prepared on the table. We always remember this great reciprocal love from these people. The youth of the Focolare used to hold a monthly activity during the weekend called PPP, Pasta Pizza Party, in order to raise money to support the needy, especially for the Indonesian people in the nearby island. Through their friends and inviting their friends, they came to pay the entrance fees, and they enjoyed to taste not only the real Italian pasta and pizza, but they could share the young people's testimony on how they live the gospel and how they put them into actions. With these experiences, they were able to carry on even with more efforts when the tsunami came, which caused serious disasters in the nearby countries. We had another project in Batam, Indonesia. It is quite a big island nearby Singapore where many Indonesians coming from all over Indonesia to look for jobs for their living. Often they were young people and young families. They work very hard with low salaries and living in bad conditions. So we tried to gather many used clothing, shoes, toys for children, and houseware where Singaporeans would donate with great generosity. And together with them, we had organized a bazaar in the island and sold out the things for them in a very low price so as to respect their dignity. They were very happy and felt so much of our love. With the money, we had a milk project for babies who are under 1 year old, and also for the medicine to the sick people there. Of course, there are so many beautiful experiences to share about, and I think to be a missionary, no matter how many challenges we encounter, we are always happy because this joy comes from God. You can be a missionary too. Just start to love. There are so many people around you who need your love and care.
Ciao, I'm Alicia Tong, a Singaporean born into a Theosm family of believers. I converted to Catholic in 1975 and has been active since. The Focolare movement has shown us the art of loving, not only in the doing, but also the being, as living examples of Jesus and Mother Mary. Chiara Lubick received numerous awards for her contribution towards peace and unity among peoples, religions, and cultures. Here is UNESCO Prize for Peace Education. In 1986, the then Father Jose Lai was posted to Singapore St. Joseph Church, Portuguese Mission, who sowed the seed of the spirituality of Chiara Lubick with us. In December 1991, Alicia brought Matita to see the then Archbishop Gregory Yong for his approval to set up a Focolare Center in Singapore. Mariapolises and gatherings provided bonding for families and spiritual growth were held in Singapore, Johor, Penang, Batam. Dimar brought a few of us to visit Lopiano, Italy, where we attended a conference of international representation. I recall when the then Pope John Paul II had his usual audience in Rome, Focolare community was given a special section, and we were fortunate to be there at that time. When Ruby and Dimar were in Singapore, they provided me free counseling services during my moments of despair with personal problems. And even after they left, they communicated with me by snail mail from Africa and Thailand on my well-being. Hedy worked hard to help the Singapore community in outreach programs, as well as all those attached to Singapore. After the Focolare Center moved from Singapore to Yogyakarta in 2011, Focolarina Monica still touched base with us, while all of us are connected to Southeast Asia region in Bangkok, with Veronica and Glauco now in charge.